All right, everybody. Welcome back to another Monday check-in. I'm Errol. I'm your host. I'm an artist, graphics designer, and a gamer. Also a family man and a veteran. I served 20 years in the Navy. All right, y'all. Today, we're diving into something I've been really contemplating. How to optimize your live stream workflow by using Twitch as your primary platform. And then multi-streaming to, YouTube channel depending on the content, right? I'll walk you guys through what I've been thinking about, how I plan to move forward, and what this means for both ArtwithErrol Podcast, ArtwithErrol Gaming channel. This is our first episode here on Twitch. So I've been doing the podcast on YouTube for 41 episodes. This is our 42nd episode. So before we get into it, I want to give like a brief recap, on last week on what we accomplished. I do this every podcast just to kind of, walk through our accomplishments and, our journey. And that's what this is about. I'm talking out or spewing out my thoughts on my journey. And you guys that are following along, if you, like the concepts or ideas that I'm using, perhaps it'll help you out on your journey, or, maybe you can give some feedback on what can help me. So, last week we did our Monday podcast as usual, and we talked about optimizing our content, or repurposing our content. We're optimizing this week. So we talked about repurposing our content. And that's really been a kind of struggle for me, doing the repurposing part. So, that's why this topic today kind of, it's just been contemplating. I've been thinking about it a lot, where I want to go with our channels, let me say, our channels, because we do a lot of multi-streaming, right? So yeah, we talked about repurposing content and how that's a good thing, and we needed to get better at it. Well, this week we're talking about how we're gonna get better at it. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday we played some Battlefield, and we were all into the multi portion of that, the multiplayer gameplay of that. So this week I think I'm gonna play through the campaign. I think that's a good way to go forward. Maybe we just play through the campaign and see how that is, and then we'll dive back into the multiplayer next week. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, plan is try to get through the campaign. Hopefully we can do it in 3 days. I only stream for 2 hours, so we may cut it. I don't know how long the campaign is, but we'll see. And that's our process for this week, is to, continue on with Battlefield 6. So also Friday we did a nice little Halloween sketch in our sketchbook, which we're also bringing our sketching for right now to Twitch. So the goal is to have like all the primary content on Twitch and repurpose for YouTube. So that's what we're going to kind of dive into today. So we'll start doing art videos or art streaming on Friday. I got to figure out how I'm going to set up for that. I've done streaming in the past with doing art stuff. Can be kind of complicated, but we'll figure it out. So yeah, we can talk about our way forward now. Let's dive into that, and I mostly do these podcasts just to kind of like just throw out my thoughts, I've been doing this since 2017, 2018. And, I was so inconsistent at streaming and, being organized with my content. And, so I've been working hard since last year to get better at making content and just being more organized and more consistent in what I'm doing. And that's a part of this journey that I failed at in the past so much, so that, I would gain following and then fall off because I wouldn't be streaming or I wouldn't be making content. And I always say that consistency is, one of the most important things if you're going to be a content creator. And, my inconsistency is what caused me to fail a lot. Failure after failure after failure, right? So, in this last year, we've been very consistent on YouTube. So I'm trying to bring that to Twitch because I don't really do enough on Twitch. I'm making content. I need to bring it to Twitch, and that way hopefully I can gain more following that way because I'll be multi-platform. But, I was only doing the live streams of my gaming. I need to bring the other content along as well. So I need to bring things along. And that's why, talking this out, I think, just spewing it out and thinking about it, is going to help me, figure out the right path and become a better creator, right? Because we all want to be great. We all want to do great. But, sometimes I think you need to really put your thoughts, out there, if that makes sense. That's just my train of thought, So why am I choosing Twitch to be my primary now? I'm still going to stream and do the content on YouTube. I'm not negating that. That's still what I've been pushing the most was YouTube. But I want to add this in because one main reason is YouTube. When you stream or post up something, you can't repurpose that content for I think it's 24 hours. It may be a little less than 24 hours. It takes a long time for it to go through the processing. And what I've noticed is when I do a live stream on Twitch, generally right after I can download the 1080p version of that and repurpose the content. So what I'm thinking is, having that ability is more important. Because having to wait for YouTube, like if I just did a live stream, let's say I was doing an art video, and I only did it on YouTube, right? And I want to make clips of that, right? The clip system sucks on YouTube. I just gotta say it sucks, man. So if I want to take, the content and download what I recorded on YouTube, I have to wait a long time before I can even do that. And then, I have to put it on my computer to do the little editing and make the clip and add the little stuff in the back, all that, add the music and all that. So it's a process that I think, can be sped up by just using Twitch as the primary. So what I've done is I've set up Streamlabs, since I use Streamlabs, to have Twitch as my primary. And for each channel, I have, the RMTP or whatever. What is it? RMPT? Am I saying that right? You know what I mean. Having those set up, because you can only do one YouTube channel, which sucks. I don't like that. But you have to do the other two as like the RMPT or whatever. Or, I may be saying it backwards. I'm sorry. If I'm getting it wrong, I'm sorry. But you know what I mean. Setting up the so that you can multi-stream, right? So, that's how I've set it up now, so that going forward, all the content will be on Twitch, and I'll be able to pull from that if I want to make clips. And I think the system on Twitch is really well designed for like making clips and all that, cutting out portions of the video and then just taking what you want and then repurposing it for YouTube. So I really like that aspect, and I should have been doing this a long time ago, y'all. I'm slow to like getting on board with things. Maybe that's just because I'm really an old school guy, or I'm a lot older than most folks that are streaming. A lot of young people do this streaming stuff, so I'm a little slow to making things happen. But it's okay. I'm working it. I'm trying to get to a better spot in building the way I make content. So the main thing is I'm trying to make progress, right? I think that's the main thing with everything. Is everybody's trying to get better. And, we got to take steps. I take mine in baby steps, I guess. Okay, so that's my main reason for wanting to make Twitch my primary. Is, to make the process more smooth, just getting the VODs, and being able to start editing right away. That's a big win for me, so I can just record something like this morning. It was only like a 6 minute, or was it 6 minutes? 5 or 6 minute live stream, but I did it to do my short that I do on YouTube. So not only do I get like a little 6 minute video, but I can cut it down to make a 3 minute short, So I really like that, how I'm doing that now, because I was recording my shorts on my phone, doing the video on the phone and then editing from the phone, where now I can do it all on the computer. So I think it's a smart move. I'm really, really happy that I'm doing this process now, that I'm changing over, because I should have done it I should have done it a long time ago. So just optimizing the way we do stuff, I think, is important, in content creating. And, I just need to be on board with better processes, Yeah, I talked about how YouTube doesn't really make it easy for that, man. It really doesn't, man. The tools, the clipping, all that stuff. I'm just reading my notes, So if y'all would see me looking off to the side, I'm kind of reading my notes of what I want to discuss and talk about. But, I mean, YouTube doesn't make the process easy at all, man. It really doesn't, man. Some of the clipping process is just not great. It's not great. The ability to download your stuff right away is not great either. Another reason, I think, engagement. Obviously, Twitch has better interactions. I got the emotes because they opened up the the subscription. So now that I have the ability to have subscribers, and I can make emotes, I can have emotes for people. The incentive is there for people to chat and. Excuse me, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm taking a drink of my soda. All right. Yeah, the incentives for engagement is way better on Twitch. So, I'm definitely should have done this a long time ago. Like I said, that's just my bonehead or hard head. Not wanting to just try to do the one platform. I want to be on YouTube and, I'm a YouTuber. No, man, I need to branch out. I need to be better at, branching out, right? Branching out, man. So using the multi-streaming, we've been using multi-streaming. It's just, I've been doing it only with the gaming. And now I'm going to branch it out. We're going to, include the podcast, which is also going to be available on Spotify, Amazon Prime, and Apple Podcasts. I'm trying to have it everywhere. Just going to have the podcast everywhere, and this is where we're going to be able to just dump our thoughts and work them out, together, to help make, hopefully I'm giving you some benefit, better creativity, right? Making us better creators. And as I come up with these topics, it's just things that's been on my mind. So yeah, I'm gonna keep using the multi-streaming. I'm just gonna have Twitch as the primary from now on, for everything. That way I can pull content and I can make clips easier. I think the discoverability is still gonna be good for YouTube, So by doing both, it's still gonna be great, I think. So as far as setup, yeah, just using the Streamlabs. I mean, I know a lot of people like to just use regular OBS. The thing about regular OBS, why I don't really use it that much, is because I use the Stream Deck, and the Stream Deck has better integration with Streamlabs OBS than with regular OBS. So the ability to set the hotkeys on the keypad and stuff, it's not that great on the regular OBS. And I'm not really good at knowing what plugins are safe for download. Like I know on OBS, right, the regular OBS, you can get a plugin to multi-stream. But are those plugins safe? I mean, I see people they say, yeah, this is the one to get and all that, but who's making those plugins? I don't know. So when it comes to, I felt like Streamlabs was a safer route. That's why I just go with Streamlabs. And I know a lot of people do Stream Element. Is it Elements or Element? I don't know. Whichever one you use, as long as you can multi-stream, I guess, it's great, for your setup. Monday, we're still doing the podcast. So every Monday, now we're on Twitch. Hello, everybody. We're on Twitch. The art video will come on Friday, and we're going to continue our Tuesday through Thursday game streaming. Okay, and we're hitting hard on Battlefield right now. I mean, Battlefield to me is a great game. I did try out Arc Raiders for about 2 hours on Sunday, because they had the little beta, and I tried to get in. I didn't stream it, but I did try it out. I didn't like how it was very campy, man. It seemed like every time I tried to extract with stuff, someone would shoot you in the back before you could get on the elevator to go down to the city. And I didn't like that. So I don't think I'll be playing Arc Raiders. That's just too much. Because not only do you got to deal with those little drones that come in, but, people just will just wait to steal your stuff, and that's I don't know, man. I don't like that. I feel like there should be some kind of mechanic to where the drones will attack someone that's camping the extraction zone. I just don't like how that setup is, because I had 2 good runs that I had some good stuff, and I'm like, oh, I'm about to get out, and someone shoots you in the back, and you die. And it's like, what? I wasted 25 minutes and I got nothing, So I really didn't like that, y'all. I really didn't like that. Really felt like a waste of time. So Friday the art video. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get a good setup for the art video. I'll use my Elgato Facecam 2 for the forward, and I think I'm gonna get another. I have a camcorder. I think I can kind of set up to do like a side or something, and then I'll use the phone to do the speed. So I'll have the phone somewhere up here, maybe looking down at the drawing to record the time lapse, and that way we can have multiple angles and stuff. I'm gonna try my best to set that up for Friday, and we'll live stream just doing some sketches, which I don't have an idea for the sketch for Friday. So I always say this, y'all. Not many people respond back to me, but if you have an idea, Halloween theme for Friday's art video, just doing sketches in the sketchbook. We may add some pencil color in, or we may just do it black and gray. That's just pencil and the white paper, right? Sketchbook drawings. So let me know what you guys think I should sketch out for Friday. I was thinking the Scream mask with the knife. I think that might be a cool one. I don't know. A long time ago, I did Jason's hockey's mask with the machete, and that was a fun drawing. But I think we just gotta come up with something for Friday. If anybody doesn't give any suggestions, then as always, I will just come up with something. Each stream, has its own profile. So like, on YouTube, I divided everything up. I have my Art with Errol channel, I have Art with Errol Podcast, and I have Art with Errol Gaming. I divided everything up just because I wanted to start new and fresh, and I wanted to kind of like separate the topics. That's why I did it that way. On Twitch, we're just going to have one channel, man. I'm not doing multiple channels on Twitch. So we're going to have the one channel for everything. Which I probably should have went right back to doing that. Because when I first started, when I was in the Navy, right? I was in the Navy, and I decided I was going to do art videos on YouTube. It was just the Art with Errol channel, and I was doing gaming and art, right? It was just gaming and art. I never had the idea of doing a podcast at that time, because that was back in 2017, 2018-ish. So, I think, by dividing it out, I wanted to try something new. So I divided everything out. I took the gaming and made a separate gaming channel when I came back to YouTube from Facebook. Because going to Facebook really kind of messed me up. And then coming back to YouTube it was November of it's been almost 2 years now, right? So it's been almost 2 years of doing the gaming channel. So so the gaming channel is new, the podcasting channel is new, and we're just gonna make Twitch our primary streaming platform. Hopefully this will lead us to some success. We'll get the community built up. Our community is the Artistry Society. I want to work harder to build in a good community. So hopefully we can do that. So yeah, I think, as far as like setup, I think I got everything set the way I want it. This is like the trial run, because I started this on Sunday. This morning we did our short. We did a short on Sunday to test run it. We did a short this morning. This podcast is the test run. As soon as we're done, I'll take the recording and I'll upload the recording to Spotify, and that RSS feed will go to the other platforms. So I think we got things kind of nailed down how I want to optimize, and I think this is going to be great. I really needed to do this. I really needed to optimize the way I make content, and I think this optimization is going to help us out a lot, in being able to put out content on the multiple platforms, and maybe grow our community. So if you're new, please like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, I think on Twitch it's just follow. We do have the subscriber thing. If you have the Prime, so the free Prime thing, I would greatly appreciate it. If you don't, I don't ever want anybody to go into like their personal funds. I always say if you got the free one, that'd be great if you can support me by giving free stuff, giving the free one. If not, you don't have to. Just viewing is more than enough for me. Being a part of the community, chatting and being a part of the community, that's more important. But the option is there, and that's amazing that Twitch opened that up. So in my notes here, so we got our way forward, y'all. I feel like this is a good move. I definitely like to hear y'all thoughts. So I always say, please, don't be afraid to drop lines in the chat or drop lines on the video afterwards. Tell me what you think. How do you do your content? Have you been doing this all along? Some people have been doing this, all along. I'm just slow to move into the right direction, and we're going to get there, man. I think we're going to get there. I feel like I'm making good moves now. Like I said, we've been very consistent with making content. The podcast is coming along. I feel like I'm getting more comfortable and, having an outline. Because in the beginning, I didn't know how to do it. I didn't have an outline of something to just talk about, So having an actual written outline is helping out. We're making a lot of improvements, I think. And I think the way forward looks good, man. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited about it. I like making content. I've never been the greatest at it. Never claimed I was the greatest at it, but I enjoy like the challenge, right? The challenge of trying to do something new. I feel like it's great, So if you're a creator and you're already doing a lot of this stuff, I definitely like to hear from you. Don't be afraid, like I said, to drop your boy a line. If you're watching this live, thank you so much. I appreciate your viewership. Appreciate you hanging out with your boy. You can always catch the replay. If you're catching the replay, don't be afraid. Drop the comment, say hello, whatever. We'll be back next Monday. A lot of my podcasts are short. I do maybe 30 to 40 minutes ish, and like I said, it's always just been me kind of putting my thoughts out there on my way forward and what I could do better, and hopefully like it's good information that's helping other people out. I want to be like helpful as well as like helping myself. If that makes sense. Like I'm trying to like put it out there so I can like mentally like push myself to do things better, right? To do things better and become a better creator. And that's the ultimate goal, to become a better creator. Provide quality content, right? You want to provide quality content and not just some, bull crap that you're putting out there, So, yeah, we'll be back next Monday. I'll have another idea or topic, something to talk about. Maybe we'll talk about how this is going, how the first week went. I think that would be a good idea. We can kind of touch back and say, hey, the first week, I think it helped out a lot or not. We'll figure it out. So I think we can go ahead and finish up. So until then, man, you know what to do. I'm out of here, y'all.